You finally did it. No more alarm, no more commute, no more manager, no more Monday dread. 3 years ago, you walked out of that office and you never went back. And everyone said the same thing. Must be nice. You smiled and said yes. You meant it. And then you went home, sat in your apartment, stared at the ceiling, and realized nobody told you what happened next. 3 years of financial freedom. 1,000 mornings with no alarm. 1,000 choices that belonged entirely to you. And a set of discoveries so unexpected, so honest, so completely absent from every finance video, book, and podcast you ever consumed, that you owe it to yourself to hear them. Because the biggest surprise about getting everything you wanted wasn't what you expected, not even close. Week 1 of financial freedom, Tuesday, 10:17 in the morning. No meeting, no email, no deadline. Just you, your apartment, a cup of coffee, and absolutely no idea what to do with yourself. So you do what any reasonable person does in this situation. You stare at the ceiling. For 4 hours now. Nobody told you about the ceiling, the entire decade you spent building toward this moment. Every spreadsheet, every skipped vacation, every not yet and almost there and just a little longer was pointed at a version of this Tuesday that looked completely different in your head. In your head, Tuesday felt like freedom. In reality, Tuesday felt like a Sunday night that never ended. Because here's what nobody mentions in the financial independence content. The job, irritating as it was doing something for you. It gave you a reason to get up. It gave you a structure for the day. It gave you an answer to the most common question at every social event you'll ever attend. What do you do? Before, I'm a software engineer, clean, clear, understood. After, I'm between things. I mean, I have investments, I don't work in the traditional, it's kind of, look, it's complicated. The cocktail party question becomes a whole thing. You try different answers. I'm retired, people assume you're 72. I'm a private investor. Technically true, makes you sound like a Bond villain. I'm figuring out what I want to build next. Everyone nods very sincerely and then looks slightly concerned on your behalf. The job was answering a question you didn't know you were asking. And now the question is back. Who are you without it? That question took a year to answer. But there was something else that hit first. Something nobody saw coming. Something actually kind of funny. 3 years ago, week 1 of freedom. You text your friend at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday. Just got back from a run. Sitting in the park. So peaceful out here. Photo of park. Your friend is in hour 3 of a performance review. He does not respond. You don't understand why. Weird, you think. Maybe he's busy. You send another park photo on Thursday. You write, honestly, mornings hit different when you own them. He does not respond to that one either. You begin to notice a pattern approximately 3 months later. That pattern is, you have become a lot. The insufferable phase is real. It lasts approximately 90 days. You don't notice it because you are too busy being in the park. Your friends notice. They say nothing. Because they are good friends. And also because they are busy. In meetings. That you keep texting them about. From the park. The cure is time. Eventually the park stops being remarkable and starts being just where you go now, which is no more worth texting about than breathing. But for those first 3 months, you are a lot. And here's the thing about the insufferable phase. It reveals something you didn't expect. Here's what no one puts in the financial independence content. When you stop sharing the Tuesday, some friendships quietly rearrange themselves. Before freedom, your social life ran on shared context. The commute, the office, the Sunday dread, the universal experience of being required somewhere at 9 a.m. 5 days a week, whether or not you wanted to go. That shared context disappears the day you stop going. And some friendships, it turns out, were mostly made of it. Not bad friendships, not fake ones, just friendships built on a foundation that no longer exists. They drift. Not dramatically, the way a boat drifts when you stop holding the rope. And then there are the other ones. The friends who text you at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday and say, hey, are you free? And mean it literally. The ones who meet you for coffee that has no calendar invite and no agenda and no end time because neither of you has to be anywhere. Those friendships get deeper. Because you finally have time to let them. 3 years in, smaller group, significantly better. Nobody mentions the friendship reorganization in the content, probably because it doesn't have a chart, but here's what the friendship reorganization led to, which nobody saw coming either. Say that again. Money gets boring, not the having of it, the thinking about it. Month 1 of financial freedom. You check your accounts 17 times a day, not because anything changes between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m., just to confirm it's still there. It's still there. You check at noon, still there. 12 more checks just to be sure, still there. By month 3, twice a day. By month 6, once a day. By year 2, once a week. During a scheduled financial review, and the rest of the time, you don't think about money more frequently than you think about the plumbing. You know it's there. You know it's working. You don't think about it unless something requires your attention. This is the thing that surprises you most. The entire decade you spent building toward financial independence, money was the central organizing fact of your life. Every decision ran through a financial filter. Can I afford this? Is this the right allocation? Is the return appropriate for the time horizon? And then one day you realize you haven't thought about your rate of return in 3 weeks, and you feel fine. Better than fine. Because money was never supposed to be the point. It was supposed to be the thing that let you stop thinking about money. 3 years in, it worked. But there was a phase between obsessing over money and not thinking about money that nobody warned you about. A phase that arrived at month 8 and was deeply, genuinely embarrassing. Month 8 of financial freedom. You're at a dinner party. Someone asks the question, "What do you do?" You say, "I'm between things." They nod. You can feel them trying to figure out if you got fired. You say, I'm not between things exactly. I have passive income. I don't need to work. But I might build something. I'm figuring out what I want." They say, "Oh, like a gap year? You are 31 years old." You say, "Sort of." They nod again. You change the subject. You drive home. You sit in the apartment. You think, "I don't know who I am without the job." And here is the thing nobody puts in the financial independence content. That thought is normal. It is not a sign that you made the wrong choice. It is not a sign that the freedom isn't working. It is the completely predictable result of removing the structure that was holding your identity together without your permission. The job was answering the question, "Who are you?" Every single day. Remove the job. The question comes back. You spend most of year 1 on it. You try things. Some interesting, some boring. Some reveal that what you thought you wanted and what you actually want are not the same thing. You thought you wanted to travel. You do, but 2 to 4 weeks at a time in places you want to actually understand. Not the relentless airport to Instagram version that looks like freedom but feels like a job you don't get paid for. You thought you wanted to start a company, but you want to build the thing, not manage the organization around the thing, not raise capital, not sit in investor meetings. The distinction takes a year to find. And the finding of it? That was the actual work of year 1. But here's what arrived after the identity crisis. Quietly. Without announcement, something nobody in the financial independence community talks about either. Month 1 of freedom. You cannot sit still for more than 20 minutes. The urgency of the old life, the emails, the calendar, the sense of being required somewhere doesn't evaporate overnight. You sit on your couch on a Tuesday afternoon with nowhere to be. And your nervous system stages a small revolt. Shouldn't you be doing something? Isn't there an email? What about the thing? There's definitely a thing. There is no thing. You sit with that for 20 minutes, then you get up and reorganize the kitchen. Month 6. You can sit for an hour. Year 1, a morning. Year 3, you can sit by the window with your coffee and watch the street and think about nothing in particular, and the part of your brain that used to scream, "Shouldn't you be doing something?" has been not silenced, but negotiated with. It has agreed to take the weekday mornings off. And here's what that feels like. It feels like the best thing that has ever happened to you. Because the productivity culture you were raised in told you something that turned out to be completely wrong. It told you your output was your value. Your busyness was your virtue. Your schedule was your worth. 3 years of mornings by the window has done something significant to that belief. You still do things. Quite a lot of things, actually. You just do them because you chose them, at the pace you chose, on the days you chose. without a calendar reminder telling you the quarterly review is 17 minutes away. It's different, but here's the part that's actually funny. The part that year one is almost entirely about. The part that proves money can give you time, but it cannot give you taste. You wanted to learn guitar since you were 19. You kept saying when I have time. Year one of freedom, you have time. You buy the guitar, it is beautiful. You learn 4 chords, you play those 4 chords for 3 weeks. You discover that learning guitar is slow and humbling and requires significantly more patience than you have developed by the age of 31. The guitar goes in the corner. You buy the guitar a stand so it looks intentional rather than abandoned. You tell people you play guitar. You play 4 chords. This is fine. You also try pottery, 2 sessions. Your bowl looks like it had a difficult childhood. Language learning, conversational Spanish is harder than the app makes it look. Sourdough bread, 3 loaves, 1 success, 2 incidents. Cold water swimming, genuinely excellent. Kept this one. Woodworking, hurt your hand. Sold the equipment, journaling, kept this one too. The hobbies that stick are not the ones you expected. The ones you saved for when I have time. The guitar, the pottery, the Instagram-worthy crafts, mostly ended up in the corner. The ones that actually stuck. Running. Reading. Sitting with your thoughts. Cooking actual meals instead of whatever required minimum effort on a Tuesday night after work. The hobbies that stuck are the quiet ones. The ones that don't produce anything. The ones that are just you being alive without trying to turn it into an outcome. And that realization connects directly to the biggest thing, the one that took 3 years to understand, the one that no content creator mentions, because it doesn't translate into a withdrawal rate or a compound interest formula. Around year 2, something clicks. You notice it first in the mornings. The morning routine has evolved. Wake naturally. Coffee. 20 minutes at the window without looking at your phone. 40 minutes reading. 5 miles running. An hour thinking, not thinking about anything specific. Just thinking. Someone at a dinner party asks what you think about during that hour. You say things. They say, like what things? You say ideas. What I want to build. What I noticed on the run. There is a pause. They say, must be nice. And you say yes, and you mean it, and you realize something in that moment. Freedom is not what happens when you arrive somewhere. It's what you practice every morning when you choose how to use the day. The spreadsheet hit the number 3 years ago, but the actual freedom, the real thing, started the first morning you chose your hour and meant it, and kept choosing it every day, 1,095 mornings. That's the discovery. That's the part nobody tells you. Freedom is not a destination, it is a daily decision, and you don't get to make it once. You make it every morning. Here's the part that is important. 3 years in, there are days, not many but real, where you wake up and the morning feels flat. The window doesn't do what it usually does. The run helps, but only partially. By 2 p.m., you are sitting in your apartment feeling a low-grade version of the thing you used to feel on Sunday nights when the week was loading. No meeting, no deadline, no performance review, just a bad Tuesday. And here's what financial independence does not do. It does not fix the bad Tuesday. The money doesn't fix it. The freedom doesn't fix it. The morning routine doesn't fix it. You sit with it. You go for a walk. You call someone you actually want to talk to. You eat something real. You go to bed early. The next morning is usually better. The bad Tuesday is normal. It's not a sign you made the wrong choice. It's not a sign the freedom isn't working. It's a sign that you are a person. And being a person includes occasional bad Tuesdays, regardless of your account balance. This is fine. It's just not in the content because bad Tuesdays don't have a chart. They don't have a compound interest formula. They don't go in the thumbnail, but they are real and they pass. And on Wednesday morning, you make the coffee and sit by the window and choose the day again. 3 years ago, you walked out of that office and everyone said the same thing, must be nice. And you smiled and meant it and went home and stared at the ceiling for 4 hours. 3 years later, Tuesday, 10:17 in the morning. No alarm, no meeting, no email, no ceiling. Just the window, the coffee, the route, the hour of thinking, The work you chose, the pace you chose, the Wednesday afternoon that becomes a 4-hour conversation with a friend because neither of you has to be anywhere, the small things, the quiet things, the things that don't go in the thumbnail. Here is what 3 years actually taught you. The number was never the point. The number was the price of admission. What you bought with it wasn't freedom from something. It was freedom to practice something. Every morning, deliberately, for 1,095 mornings now, choosing how to use the day, choosing the work, choosing the pace, choosing the hour. That's it. That's the whole thing. That's what nobody tells you. Your mother calls. She asks if you're eating properly. You tell her you are. You make a joke about the cereal. She laughs. She says she worries about you sometimes. You say she doesn't need to. She says she always does. You say you know. You hang up. You sit by the window. The thermos is on the counter. Coffee's ready. The morning is yours. It's Tuesday. And you don't dread it anymore.